Hey everybody, if you're watching this video, I feel your pain. That means you've got to take the Praxis test. And the Praxis test is a beast. This test is 130 questions from 5 different topic groups. No test is ever the same. They're pulled from a database. The questions have varying difficulty, some from ridiculously hard, others to mostly hard. So, I just finished the Praxis test a few days ago, at the beginning of the week, and I passed with the score I needed. I needed at least a 159. I got a 174, so I wanted to share with the world what I did to prepare, and hopefully that will help you as you prepare for the Praxis test and feel confident and comfortable going in. So this specifically is for the social studies, for being able to teach in secondary and high school. 5081. So here's what I did. First of all, I took a practice test, and it was the first one I found was here at Teachers Test Prep, and it has this free practice test you can take. I took it. I got a 49% and felt terrible about myself, and I immediately started to hyperventilate and just like cram. I started cramming, and the best place that I found to cram, as I didn't know answers to some of these questions, because when I take a test I look and see what I missed, why I missed it, and all of the other possible answers, and understand what the background is to those, because the question that will happen on the Praxis test, it won't be the same question. It will be related, but it might be flip side on another person in that same, that might be one of those answers. So I was blessed enough to search YouTube and find this place called Crash Course. Now there's a lot of stuff on YouTube about the Praxis, and some of these are good. Like this is pretty good. This one was pretty good, but they're kind of boring, just boring, lecture-like, which is fine. It works. Crash Course is upbeat and fun, and so I had a lot of fun listening to it and watching it. And they've got tons of stuff. And specifically, the main ones I needed to watch were U.S. history and world history, because I have general idea from school, but I can't hardly remember anything besides basics, and the questions are never the basic. So what they have in playlists, world history, and I would listen to these I didn't have a lot of time, so I listened to them at 1.5 speed. So when you play the video here, oh, his face just looks lovely. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. We'll just, you go to settings, and I'm apologizing to him on the screen. Sorry I'm making you look bad, man. I set it at 1.5 speed. You can go all the way up to 2 speed if you want and play it, and it's really fast. I can't handle 2 speed. I can handle 1.5 speed pretty well, because he speaks kind of slow and it keeps it going quick. And then I'd pause if I didn't know exactly what he was saying. So basically, I watched this to get an all-encompassing view of world history, U.S. history, and any of those questions that I didn't really understand. And then I purchased all of the practice tests. Now, when you register for the Praxis test, it's going to offer you can buy some of these practice tests individually. There's 3 of them for the social studies, but don't buy them there. Buy them here on this resource page, because you can buy all 3 at a discount. So look, it's $20 for one test, but if you go over and buy these packs here, 1, 2, and 3, you get under $50 for all 3. And you can get all these exact same questions at Quizlet, which is a nice flashcard based thing. People will put together flashcards and post them up here. You can look at them and review for the tests. But all the flashcards have just the correct answer. It doesn't have any of the other answers that are really the ones you want to dig in and understand to know what other things you need to study and be ready for the test. So Quizlet was helpful to go through and just do refreshers on certain things that are very specific based, like the amendments of the Constitution, things like that. But for me, I also, as a family, we listened to Story of the World. That was very helpful. You don't have to do that. I feel like I got pretty much as much review as I needed in Crash Course, but Story of the World is really great. Anyway, so that's what I did for practicing. YouTube, Quizlet, Story of the World. Now, what's a good score for the Praxis test? Once you're feeling ready to go, I was taking these practice tests and getting like 60%, 69%, and that's after studying, and so I was feeling really bad about myself. But what I found is you want to kind of go for a score of what you get right, not a percentage. And you want to go for a score that's greater than 70. So this is how I tracked it during the tests, and whether or not I felt good about submitting the test at the end. Because when you get to the end, you have to decide, do I basically say it's a no-go and trash it, or do I submit the test and send the scores on to the places that I registered to send the scores on to? And if you go during the test, what you should do when you get a scratch piece of paper, create this table for 100%, 75, 50, and total guess question mark. And you should track which questions, how you feel when you answer these questions. So for example, during the test, you might put a tally mark in 100% for 30 questions and 50 at 75%. And when you get to these 50% in total question mark, actually you can write the number there or mark it. And because you might want to go back to them. You might see a question that jogs your memory and you can jump back to it and know better how to answer that question. And a lot of times during the test, this is why it's so important to understand kind of an all-encompassing world history and U.S. history, because a lot of times they'll ask you a question about a time period, and it's a topic that you don't even know, like a dynasty in China, but you know what was happening during the mid-19th century, and that will help you narrow down your answers. And you'll feel much more confident answering those ones. So when you finally get your table done, you're ready to submit your test, time's expired, you went back and you can double check your 50%ers and things like that. What you do is just do a little math. So if I had 52 questions that I on my 75% level of certainty, I would times those 52 by 0.75, and I'd give myself a score of 39 questions answered right, 18 for my 100%. For my 50%, if I had 40 questions there, I'd give myself a score of 20, just basically using those percentages to gauge what kind of score I might get. And when I do that for all of them, I add them up, and here I have a score of 82. And I'd feel pretty good about submitting that to get a final score. Because if you don't submit, you'll never see your score. And you might as well submit if you feel pretty confident going into it. So I hope that's really helpful for you, that as you go through and takes this test, it's a beast. And you know what? Getting 60% is actually pretty good. You know, that's a passing score, and I think they make them so hard just so nobody can just fly through this thing. You have to have a pretty good all-encompassing idea of economics and things like that, but they don't expect you to know it all, especially when you're coming into this. But go ahead and get those practice tests. Make sure you understand an all-encompassing view. Go to Crash Course on YouTube. Quizlet can be a big help. Story of the World CDs, and go for that good score. Go ahead and rock that test. And if you have, let us in the comments. Let us know how it was for you, and maybe that can help some other people out, because I couldn't find a video like this, and I hope this is helpful to you, so you can feel good going into the Praxis test. Catch you later.